I was arrested December 13th of 2016, and it was the worst day of my life and the best day of my life. The night before that, I had told a woman that I was dating at the time, I remember it, I said to her, I need to get back to church. The Lord has a plan for us, and sometimes when we're not strong enough to do what we need to do, He helps us.
My experience in the system started at an early age, and as a result of that, I was introduced to, crime, the streets and what have you. There's a long version, there's a short version. It's always uneasy to talk about these types of things, especially when I'm trying to put them in the rearview mirror. But at the same time, I don't want to forget.
I was arrested. My face was all over the news, all over the news. And I received a letter the day after my arrest while I was sitting in county jail in a suicide prevention suit from someone I knew as an acquaintance, and how it got there was crazy because I wasn't supposed to get it the way that I received it. And it just told me that I was loved and that I was forgiven, guilty or innocent, and that that person would stand by me every day of my trial and every day in the community because God loved me and He loved me.
Well, I was in and out of juvenile detention centers, treatment centers, what have you. I've experienced homelessness, as a result of addiction, drug use and things of that nature. And along with that, comes, crime in the streets and stuff like that. So, I was in and out of, the system, workhouse, any type of jail, you name it, I've been there.
Jeremiah 29:11 became the scripture that I just invested my time and thoughts in. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope in the future. And when I forget about it, I look on my arm and kind of trace the letters on my tat, and just reminds me. And the first Sunday I came out of prison, I came here to go to church. I couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. And do you know that that Sunday the message was built around Jeremiah 29:11?
God met me where I was at. You see what I'm saying? I mean, God just tickled my spirit. You know what I'm saying? God let me know that everything was going to be all right. And so my faith just grew. And God, showed me miracles while I was in prison, little signs.
Even when I got out and I was out on bail, there were days where I remember being in my truck just like weeping and crying, like calling my doctor, like, I don't think I can do this, like I am feeling so overwhelmed and anxious right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Talk about the change between when you're in prison, you don't get to make a lot of decisions.
Right.
How do you make that change from depending on, or not maybe depending on, but allowing someone else to control everything?
Right.
To now you're in control of it?
Well, first of all, it's going to take a little humility. We have to humble ourselves, you know what I mean, and maybe ask for help, right? Because it can be overwhelming, you know what I mean? Again, I think having a healthy support system will take you a long way in that area.
And someone coming out who doesn't have any of that, what do they do?
That is tough. That is tough. And that's why the relationship with God is so important, because my support system came from God, my source.
See the door opening on a car. You coming out, or you just gonna sit in there all day?
That feels like a freaking blanket. That thing.
Good to see you.